So, quest 3, let's take a look at using VRSketch for some basic polygonal modeling. So I know I look a complete idiot with this thing on, but what can you do? What I want to do is show you some basic polygonal modeling. So stuff you would normally do in programs like Blender, Maya, Cinema 4D, and I'm going to show you some of the basic polygonal workflows that I use. So let's dive right in. Now, just to let you know, I'm left-handed, so I'm using this hand instead of this hand. This is called my dominant hand. This is my non-dominant hand. So I'm just going to show you something first of all. So I'm going to virtually take my headset off and show you this now. So this is the Quest 3. You can see my camera there. You can see how I'm recording. And I sometimes record like that, but I don't need to today. I don't need to. I could literally just draw in the air in front of me like this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to close these walls down and I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to pick these up again and I'm going to go back into VR. So realistically, that what I just showed you was called MR, or mixed reality, because we're mixing the two worlds. That's like what you'd see in what you can get on the Apple Vision Pro. So now we're back in virtual reality. We're in a room and the walls are closed down. So let's start with the basics of polygonal modeling. So I'm going to open this panel. So non-dominant hand, and I'm going to use this little purple button here, and I'm going to tap it, and that's going to open this. And then I can open all of these different tools. So I want just a plane, so one polygon, and I want to make sure subdivision modeling is on. So with that plane, I'm going to drag it in the air like that. Now, there's a couple of problems here. I'm just going to show you what the problems are. One, I want it symmetrical. I'm going to just take this light and just move this light around a little bit. If you want the light in VRSketch, it's up here, and you just basically pull it out of this panel, which I already have done. So I'm going to take this one and delete it with the red button on my dominant hand, and I'm going to go to settings and switch on mirroring before I even start. So now when I do it, you've got customize, you've got subdivision object, and you've got plane, and we draw it out, and we've got two of them. So that's quite pretty much the standard way of starting something, which means we've got a center line in here now, and we know that we've got just two polygons. So I'm going to make a face. So you're going to slowly watch me create a face using the tools that are in here. So first thing I'm going to do is take this one on the left hand side and hit the blue button. And that now means I can move it around with points. So I'm using points, edges, and faces. So the same as any other 3D program that you've probably ever used. I'm going to leave this panel in the air in front of me here, because this is our subdivision panel. And this is where we can turn subdivision on and off and increase the subdivision levels like so. So what we're going to do is we're going to move that to the center, and it will snap. So I've now got a symmetrical object, and it's locked on that center line by default, which is always something I look for in a polygonal modeling package. So what I want to do is start to construct a face. So I'm going to start with a nose, then eyes, then the lower half of the face, and then a mouth. And I'm going to do it slowly and in stages so that I can really show you what it is that I'm doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is just tap with my dominant hand, trigger, and just tap at the front, and that gives me a split. Now, if you see with my thumb flicking left and right on my dominant hand, it goes through different modes. So I've got edge mode, point mode, face mode, object mode. So we'll be flicking all the time. So if I say go to object mode, it will be a flick of the thumb, and I have to cycle through by flicking. Hopefully you can see in the camera if you can't see in the screen. So with that said, I can now move these points around. So let's just put a couple of splits in and construct what will become a nose. So I'm going to go to edge mode, put a split in, and here is the block of a nose. Now, if you're sculpting, you'd want the whole head. We're going to do this. This is basically edge extrusion modeling, or in the old days, we might have called it box modeling, because I'm just taking edges, or, extruding from an edge, or, or doing an extrusion. So I could take this edge here and extrude down. And you're going to see me do that a lot. So this will be the boxy part of the nose. So I'm going to do it again. And you can see there, they're not joined. So you can either pick them up and drop them like that. Or what you can do is you could actually, I'll do it one more time, like so. I could take this one, and as I fire, and then I've got hold of it with my inner grip, this grip button inside, I just tap it to the other one, and then it just welds it. And that will be a way of doing our edge extrusion. I'll keep trying to make sure you can see it, and I'm trying to keep it as steady as I can in the air in front of me. Okay, so what we do want is we want some loops to work with. So I'm just going to take this face, and I'm going to make a loop like that. So I basically took it, fired, and that gives me an extrusion inside, or basically a extrusion that I've then scaled. And then I'm going to split it through the middle like that, and split it through the middle like that, just with a tap. I'm not doing individual cuts. If I want to do cuts, which I'm probably not going to do a lot of in this video, I just tap on my toolbar, and that's the cut tool there. And there's lots of tools in here, but I don't want to get that complicated for now. I just want you to see these tools here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to construct what will become an eye, and bear with me because it won't look very good for the first few minutes. But I'm going to flick left and right until I get to all of my faces. That's all of them. I'm going to extrude in, push in, tap again, and then extrude in again. And now what you'll see is all of those points are inside. Now, if it's not looking, or if you want to smooth it a little bit, you can basically increase your selection size by pushing forward with your thumbstick, hover over the points, and then if you pull back, they'll tighten. So in some programs, that's called an average vertice. Some programs, it's a smooth. If you're using a sculpting package, it would be like holding shift and smoothing. So that's given us the basic eye socket. It's not brilliant, but it's good enough. And what I'm looking to do now is construct edge loops. So I know I've constructed an edge loop around here already. So I'm in quite a strong place already by just having one edge loop there. Let's put an edge loop on, a couple of edge loops here. So one, we'll put a split down the nose like that. I might split the nose there as well. And then this nose here, sorry, this edge here will make what will become the cheek fold. And I've come all the way down. Hopefully you can see me doing that. So I've come round and down there. And then what we'll do is we'll do another one. And I'll snap it along the way. Like so. And then just keep going down, snapping. That's that one done. And again, we might want to bring that out a little bit at a later stage. The lower poly, the better, you know, for this work. Let's bring this down here. We'll bring that all the way in. And we'll bring it down here. You snap it as you go in. Like so. And we'll run a split up the middle like that. If you ever want to have a look at it subdivided, here, just pop it on, and then the subdivision levels there. And that, so it doesn't look good at the minute. All we're doing at the moment is making some nice basic geometry for us to start with. So none of this will be, you know, it's going to change significantly. Okay, so let's move down and construct a mouth. So we want a loop, we already know that. So we're going to want the edge of the lip like this, and we're going to want this to come round. So we basically are definitely going to want a loop coming round here. So it'll turn round here. You might want that one to carry on down there, which means that this will come here like this. Let's do one more there, something like that. Again, don't worry about the shape. What matters is the loops at this point, and you can see there I've done an extra loop just to have a look at it. Now we can construct some basic mouth geometry or basic shapes. So the lip of the mouth would be like this, and that would go inside like so. See why it helps to have, you know, a lower poly count at this stage, because you're going to do a lot of moving around. If you make this too high res, then you've got to do a lot of this moving around, a lot of this tweaking around, which is a pain in the butt really. So we don't want that. So we know we've got a good loop all the way around there now. And what we can do now is put another split there, and that'll give us a nice hard edge round this lip here. And by that, what I mean is this. I'll show you. I'll just pull the lip out so it's giving it some volume, like so. But if you bring one edge close to another edge, you get a harder edge. And how can we test that? So if we just put it on, you can see there, where it's closer, it's definitely a tighter, you know, it's definitely a much tighter, I'll do one more subdivision level. You can see that nice tight edge there. It's not a crease, but it's tight enough. So I'm going to go larger with my thumbstick and pull this mouth back a bit. Make sure we've got all of it there. We don't want any of it hanging around. And that probably would mean that we want this out a little bit here. Something like that. And this nose, we can really work on that later. Again, I can't stress enough, we're really just focusing on the geometry at the moment. Okay, that's more than enough for now. So let's just pick it back up, blue button, and let's put some of the, some other little bits in. So let's turn this back off, and let's think about something like the nostrils, for example. So I'm going to come in here, nice and tight. And we'll probably make a nostril with these two faces here. So fire by fire, I mean obviously fire with the trigger, and that's given us a nostril. It's not ideal yet. If you want to see it differently, you can see it in, you know, in different ways by moving the light. That can sometimes help you. Let's try and now let's just finish off some of these areas here. Make sure everything's snapping. So come around here. It's still super low poly, isn't it? So let's split it through the top like that. And then we might want to put a split there. And then we're going to keep going round, but this time corner of the eye, like so. And then build that in like so. Snap that. I'm just building the cheeks area here, so it's done and dusted as we get round. This is fine here, this is fine. I don't know what I've done here. So we can bring this around here now, and then maybe we bring the lip out a little bit, and then bring this one down and have a look where everything's going, like so. Snap that one in there, and now I think we're close enough with this now. And then what we'll do is we'll turn this round and it'll come back in here like this. So you'll see what I mean in a moment. So this has now turned this cheek in like so. If I just go all the way to the center and then bring them up, they should snap together. And that begins to help us form a cheek line. It's got a great big chin at the moment, but again, as I keep saying to you, don't worry about any of this at this stage, because we're going to change it all significantly in a moment. Okay, he's got a great big chin, hasn't he? A little bit too big there. So, and nice and wide, so head's 5 eyes wide, so we know that. And then let's just think about what's going on here at the top. So what we might want to do is bring some of this out here ready for what we're going to do later. So bring that around there. I've done an error there. You notice did something wrong there. I don't think I joined that. There you go, you can see it. And we probably would need one more split through that eye. So I'm going to smooth that eye down again. So remember how to do it at this stage. Grab it all and pull down on the thumbstick and it'll just tighten it. And grab that one and grab that one. Okay, so that's more than enough now. So let's just start creating it a little bit differently now. So one thing is that's always useful with this sort of thing is to add an eyeball to work over the top of. So we'll just go back to our tool panel with the purple button, and we'll just pick a sphere and we'll just prop a basic sphere in the scene, something like that. We'll colour it actually, so holding it with my inner grip, and we'll just pick white, a little bit, in fact now we'll make it same sort of colour but lighter, something like that. And we'll just, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to subdivide it. So what we can do is, let's subdivide on, and we'll just leave it at level 1, that's all we need. So, and then that can go into our head to allow us now to sculpt around it, maybe a bit bigger than that, something like that. Okay, so what does that mean, sculpt around it? So let's go back to the head. So I'm picking it with my inner grip and then the blue button. So let's now think about pulling these, put another split there because I'm going to need it anyway. Let's pull these points around the eye into the shape of an eye. So to do that, I'm just going to move the light a little bit because it might help me as I'm working. And I'm just going to put the subdivision back on. And now, if you go in here, there's lots of points. So there's probably too many points for what I wanted, but it is what it is. I'll just move the eye back out a little bit, something like that. And then back on the head, and now we'll start constructing the eyelid. So we've gone in, so that's the eye socket. So now we need to pull a lid down. So be very careful with these points. You don't want them to look like they're going off in all different kind of directions. So bring them in slowly and construct a lid, which will mean that you have to go back for the eyelid. So obviously the first one is out. Look at the shape of the eye, not the points. That's less important at this stage because we know we've got edge loops in there. So let's keep going. Let's keep going and then construct a lower lid. And then from there, we can add a split. And look how it changes that shape of the eye. Now this is too far out here. So we'll bring all that in and it gives us that rounded shape of the eye. You can see why that is more important now to have the, to have a sphere in there. I'm going to bring this down and start creating this corner of the eye. And then this will go tightly into the eye, and one more split will allow us to give it this lid, like so. So you can see with just having the right geometry there, you've been able to form, I'm going to tighten that down with a smooth, one of my favourite tools. Bring that down, and fairly okay-ish kind of eye. So go in now. In fact, this one will go in around the eye, and then we're going to come back out with this one. And that is the beginning of your brow, like so. And if you feel like that's, you know, I mean, that looks a bit off there actually. I don't know whether I've gone off symmetry. But we'll leave that for now. We'll just work on one side and we'll fix that at a later time. So let's just keep working on that eyelid. Wasn't looking particularly good. And now we'll have a quick look at this nose here. So maybe it's time for another split down here. And just notice that that seam's open there. So another split here would mean we can do this. Because we know we've got a contiguous edge loop, we know we're going to have a nice predictable cheek fold there, which now means there's plenty of geometry in here for us to do a proper nasal shape, so the outer nasal area. So I think it needs to be smoothed one more time. So that's too high, so maybe like that. And now it's maybe time to move this light a little bit so we can see that we're getting the shape of the face quite right. So let's carry on and bring this brow out, and then this will be down, and we're going to spread this out a little bit here now and bring the nose up. We're going to really bulk his nose up here, And then quite often, once you've had the bridge of the nose there, you quite often get this like a squarish area here. And comes back out again with the nasal fold here. We can bring this out a little bit. And then maybe that nostril can go a bit higher, and we can construct the inside the nostril a little bit better. Now we can see, so you can see that nasal shape is looking quite good. The eye doesn't look like the eyelid sticking to it, because I saw it from this angle, so that's good that we've spotted that. It's gone up underneath like that. There we go. And now let's change the shape of this face. So I needed a split there to allow me to do more tweaking, and that will mean I can construct a bit of a better lip shape. Like so. We'll split it inside, which means I can go up inside the mouth and down inside the mouth, like so. Because what we want to do is now do an inner mouth area, so we can come round the back and you'll be able to see roughly what's going on inside here. So what you can do for this is just turn subdivision off while you fill this mouth area in. I would say do it like this, something like that. So we've filled that area in. Basically all I'm doing is filling in the back of the, making a mouth bag is what we would call it here. Now there's a bit of a pickle in the corner, don't forget, so we've got to be a little bit careful that we don't do anything that messes it up. So that would be here like this, and then there like that, and then across here, just literally working out how the geometry should fit. A split there will allow me to do this. Absolutely make sure you're snapping all of these points, or that will cause you a problem later down the line. That one's done. We're always looking for quads, remember. It's just a basic rule you have to get used to. If you get to the point where you've got a triangle, you've probably failed and you want to go back. It's fine for game, but if you can work predictably with quads, it solves a lot of problems for you at later stages. So that should allow me to do a split there, and then we can just tighten it down with a smooth. Hopefully you can see there, that's a mouth bag, and we'll smooth it down. And there you go, it's a nice tight inside of the mouth. So we can turn subdivision back on now. Let's change the lighting a little bit. And just see if we can improve the lighting to some degree. I'm just going to tinker through until I get something that I like. Yeah, that's quite nice, quite harsh now, isn't it? So that might be a little bit better for you to see. So let's pick him up again, and then we'll start moving, we'll try and get the shape a little bit better now. So we'll bring this nose out and then tighten it down underneath, tighten it down. When I say tighten, remember it's just smoothing the polygons. We've got this looking good at the side. What about this forehead? Do we need to do more of this? Yeah, we probably do. So what wouldn't be a bad idea is to do another split and bring it up bit by bit so we can see what we're doing. So bring all of the points, and then we'll start evening them out a little bit because they're just not right like that. They're too tight here, there's too much going on here. So I'm going to bring it out and round a bit, like so, and then split that one, and then tighten that one down. So fix this brow now, we've got the geometry right. And putting creases in there is, that's an unintended consequence of what I've just done, but works rather well. Now look how it looks rounded until you grab it and then extrude it, basically extrude the edge. And then you see that once it snaps, it squares that off. You can see there, snap, and it fills it in like that. Snap, and it fills it in like that. So come round here and snap, and it seals it up like that. So in fact, one more. And there we go. So you can see there I've got quite a nice brow. So let's move that brow down a little bit and just tighten that nose a bit. Move that nose out and tighten it. Pretty sure you know what I mean by tighten now. So bring the brow overall down a bit, so we've got this nice scowly head. And then maybe bring this mouth up a bit and out a bit. And the cheeks maybe not that much. What I did notice then is we don't have a cheek at like the corner mouth fold here. So what we can do is we can tuck these ones down behind these ones here. And that'll give us a nice corner mouth fold like that. And this mouth does look a little bit too harsh, so I'm going to bring that together. And the corner of mouths are usually sealed up, aren't they? So they're quite closed. So what we want to do is just unpick that a little bit and just smooth that down so we can see what's going on a little bit. And then we'll bring this upper one down and the lower one up. So I'm just looking around to make sure we're doing it correctly. This bit here under the nose, this dip inside, is called the philtrum, this bit. So you can do a nice big dip into the underneath the nose. And that forehead's now too big. So we'll smooth that down like so. And now, last little bit, we're just going to pull this eye out a little bit here. Just didn't look quite right where I was looking. You can actually, if you want, you could take this eye you could take this eye, put it back in. You could take this and colour it the same as the skin, which is that one, and that could be the corner of the eye. In fact, you could even colour it pink or whatever colour you think the corner of an eye is. I think it is pinkish, isn't it? Something like that. No, maybe not that colour. Maybe let's do something along the lines of similar to the skin for now, until we do something different. So that would give us pretty much what we need. Now, I definitely think we've messed up with the symmetry there, so that's something we can fix at a later stage. But in terms of the mouth, that looks good, apart from this bit here. So let's have a look what we've done wrong here. See if you can work out what's wrong. And basically, it's quite straightforward, isn't it? So we've got some bad geometry going on there. So let's fix that. Let's highlight the geometry and then delete it. And sometimes it's easier to do it with subdivision on, and sometimes it's better to do it with it, with it on. It's basically depending on what it is you're trying to achieve. So that to me looks like we've got a problem where we don't have enough. It's basically a triangle and a quad coming together. So we'll fill it in until there's just a triangle left there. There's a triangle here now. And then what we'll do is we'll bring this across and then we'll move along and then delete these faces here and then seal them up. So everything that we're doing is just a problem solving exercise. It's just working out, do you need more geometry? Do you need less geometry? Have you done it right? Is it causing a problem? If you want to take this out to 3D print at some stage, then you need to be absolutely sure there are no errors at all. And that can be that sometimes is the challenge, is really, making sure that you've got everything completely what we call watertight. And that's your job to work through it and make sure you feel like you've got everything completely bang on. So take your time with that. You know, that doesn't, you know, you don't win any prizes for getting this done the fastest if it doesn't work at the other end. So that'll do for this session, but as you can see, that's quite a well constructed, apart from the bad symmetry, which I'm going to fix for the next video. That's pretty much given us a really nice set of geometry for this head. So let's leave it at that, and then what we'll do is we'll fill the full head in next time, and we will basically from that point then we'll see if we want to take it to a full bust. I hope you're enjoying the videos, and if you are, please give us a thumbs up. It does help us to get in front of other people who like our content. And of course, we're now venturing back into VR with VRSketch here. So lots to come and good things. It's all done in the headset, so it's not, you don't need a PC, it's not tethered, and also VRSketch is free. So why not dive in and try it if you've got a Meta Quest 3?